Hey, hi guys, how's it going? My name is Kelsey from Simply Kelsey Lee, and today I am doing a biannual Bibliothon wrap-up / book haul for the month of June. So let's get this started. So the first book that I read for the biannual Bibliothon was Paper Towns by John Green. I decided to read a book a week because reading a book a day is just impossible for me. So I read this book the week before the Bibliothon, and this was the group challenge book, and I have to say I wasn't a huge fan of this one. I just wasn't a fan of Margot's character as it developed. I felt like it went flat, and I know that this one has to do with depression and dealing with depression, but I just felt like there was holes in the plot that didn't ever get satisfied, and ooh, that was dirty. I just felt like this one just didn't end the way that I wanted it to, and it fell flat for me. So the next book that I read for the Bibliothon challenge was A Great and Terrible Beauty by Libba Bray. This one I read for the childhood book challenge. I read this one the week of the Bibliothon. This book I read along with the two other companion novels that go with it. I read this when I was in middle school. It just has a lot of fantasy and action and powerful women, and it went along with the realm of Harry Potter and Twilight, which I was reading during that time too, but it was a little more realistic in a way, and it just was one that I really fell in love with, and I was so happy to be rereading it again. And the last book that I read for the Bibliothon challenge was Wonder, right here. This one was by R.J. Palacio. I have no idea how to say her last name. This book was absolutely wonderful, 100% one of my favorite books of all time. My mom has been trying to get me to read this one forever. It was my DNF book. I started it on my Kindle, didn't finish it because I was reading it on my Kindle. What was I doing? I just really needed to read the actual tactile book itself, and I did, and I fell in love and cried and laughed, and oh, so good. Really, really good one. And the last book that I attempted to read for the Bibliothon challenge was my novella. This one right here. This book is called The Library of Unrequited Love by Sophie DeVry. This one is only about 93 pages. It just is very hard for me to read for some reason. The narration of this one is told as if you're out to dinner with a friend and they're on the phone and you're only hearing half of the conversation. And the conversation's a really good one, but you're only getting half of it. I'm working on it and I want to finish it. As far as my other books that I decided to read for my biannual Bibliothon, I am absolutely going to be reading those. I'm still challenging myself to read a book a week, so as I continue reading those books, I'll be posting videos on what I think of them. As far as for my June wrap-up, I read these 3 books, plus A Great Gatsby by F. Scott Fitzgerald, and I wasn't a fan. No, I'm sorry. I know all of you literature people out there would be like, oh, why? Why not? This is such a fabulous, wonderful, all-time greatest book ever. No, I disagree with that. I was not a fan of the plot. I wasn't a fan of the characters. I thought they just all fell flat. There was no plot development, character development. I don't understand why it was so great. The only part that I loved from this book was the last 2 paragraphs. Sorry. Now I'd like to do a book haul for my fall 2015 semester because I'm a nerd and I ordered those books early. Hey. So the first book that I'm going to be showing you guys is not a book that's required reading for my fall semester. However, it is one that I just couldn't resist and had to buy, and that is The Martian by Andy Weir. And this one is being made into a movie, and I am so excited to be reading this book. I need to read it before the movie comes out because, oh my gosh, it just reminded me so much of Ray Bradbury and the Martian Chronicles, and those were some of the stories that really got me into reading, so I'm really excited to be reading this one. And look at how pretty the cover is. Oh, it's so pretty. So moving on to actual books that are required reading for my semester. I'm taking a seminar on Richard Wright, who is an influential author and poet in American culture during the early 1900s. Some of these books are going to be written by him, some of them not. But these are the books for that class. I have Richard Wright by Richard Wright. This one is more of just an anthology of some of his works. This one scares me the most of all my books because it's little and heavy, and it has a tassel thingy, and it's official looking, and it has Bible thin pages, and I'm just like, oh. The next one is 12 Million Black Voices by Richard Wright. Again, it has the same general theme. All of these books have the same synopsis basically in the back, but obviously different stories going on. This one is pretty small, and it actually has photographs in it during the time that sort of go along with the story. So it should be interesting to see how those two collaborate with each other. The next one that I have is Black Boy, again by Richard Wright. This one here is a pretty big novel for a semester. I feel like we're going to have to read this one in like a week and a half or so because I have so many to read for this class. I've heard actually some pretty good things about this one, and I really like the spine. I think it's really pretty. So this one should be interesting. The next one I have is Their Eyes Were Watching God by Zora Neale Hurston. I wasn't entirely sure of the story, but after reading the back, I'm so excited to read this one. It has such a pretty cover. Awesome. I'm so excited about this one. And the last one for this class is going to be The Street by Ann Petrie. And I haven't heard of this one, however, the cover looks really familiar to me. It's a pretty hefty book too. I'm a little nervous about reading all of these in one semester, but it should be really interesting. I feel like it's going to really awaken my cultural understanding and historical understanding, and so I'm excited to read these. Moving on, the next class that I'm going to be taking is a film and novel class, which I'm curious to see if my professor is going to have us watch the movie and then read the book, or read the book then watch the movie. I personally really like reading the book then watching the movie. What do you guys think? Do you guys like to watch the movie then read the book, or would you rather read the book than watch the movie? Let me know. Comment down below. Books that we have to read for this class are Tsotsi by Ethel Fugard. Sorry if I'm butchering that. Ethel Fugard, Tsotsi. I'm excited to read this one. I feel like it's going to be a tearjerker based on what the synopsis on the back says. So this one should be really, really good. The next book that we have to read is The Unbearable Lightness of Being by Milan Kundera. I've never heard of this one. I've never seen the movie. And the cover is really cool. It's like shiny and it has a bowler hat, and I don't know. It looks interesting. It looks like a really complicated love triangle. I'm curious to see if it's just about a romance or if there's some political underlying thing going on or what else there is to this, because I feel like they wouldn't assign this if it was just a love triangle. Next one, I know most of you probably have heard of. It's called Winter's Bone by Daniel Woodrell. This book I know was made into a movie recently. It had Jennifer Lawrence in it, and it was an indie film. It looks really good. It looks heart-wrenching and intense, and I'm excited to read this one. And last but not least is a graphic novel called Persepolis by Marjane Satrapi. This one I actually have seen the movie. It's a cartoon adaptation of the graphic novel. It should be interesting to read the book and compare it to the movie in a classroom setting. And actually, believe it or not, this book is also required reading for my next class, which is Comics and Graphic Novels. The next one for Comics and Graphic Novels is Day Tripper by Fabio Moon and Gabriel Ba. This one I sort of skimmed through because the cover was so pretty and I wanted to see what it was sort of about, and honestly I have absolutely no idea. So I'm curious to see what my professor is going to have to say about this one. The next one that we're going to have to read is Watchman by Alan Moore and Dave Gibbons. This one I've never seen the movie and I've never read the graphic novel, so it should be interesting. I know this one has a lot of politics in it. It's pretty heavy duty and it's a pretty hefty novel, but the colors in it are amazing. It looks really cool and I'm excited to be reading this one. And last but not least on the Comics and Graphic Novels agenda, no, book list, sure, is Black Sad by Juan Diaz-Canales and Juanjo Guarnido. Wow, that print is really hard for me to read. This one looks like it's about a cat in a suit. I've never heard of this before. It's hardcover, it's heavy, it's little, but I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. I'm really kind of disappointed that The Walking Dead isn't on this reading list for comics and graphic novels because I've been needing an excuse to buy the Walking Dead graphic novels. They're so expensive and I really want to buy them, but alas, don't have it this time. So anyway, that is my biannual Bibliothon wrap-up / June book haul / fall 2015 book haul. I'm so excited to be reading these books and happy to have participated in the biannual Bibliothon. Thanks to everyone who liked my videos and gave me honorable mentions, and thank you for Kelly for picking my video to win day 1 of the challenge. I'm so excited to be getting the book in the mail. I wish I could have done it in this book haul video, but maybe next time. So that's it. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day and had a happy 4th of July. I'll see you next time. Bye!